Hello, I'm Richard Hooper and this is Sat TV. Now I'm here at CommunicAsia with PJ from SpeedCast. PJ, we've spoken many times before, but you are on a real growth pattern. So tell me a little bit more about who you've been acquiring.
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure and it's become a tradition every year. The company has a strategy of, first of all, organic growth, and we've been able to sustain a strong organic growth over the past many years, and we intend to continue doing that. And we're combining this organic growth with acquisitions, external growth, to strengthen our growth potential. So we've been acquiring a few companies in the past 18 months, now 5 companies. It started with Australian Satellite Communications, Adelaide-based company, Australian company, very strong in the Australian market, serving oil and gas, mining, government sectors primarily, great service provider. We then wanted to strengthen our presence in Europe for the maritime sector, serving commercial vessels, because it's a key growth engine for the company today. We were strong with a leadership position in Asia, but we're lacking of strength and presence in Europe. So we acquired Electricom Satellite Services, Rotterdam-based company, Rotterdam, big shipping hub in Europe. And it's been a great acquisition because it has really changed our profile in the maritime industry. We're now viewed as a real global player, and we start seeing the results of that with some very exciting wins, and some of them you'll hear in the near future. SpeedCast has grown organically, serving customers in Asia. With ASC, we added Australia. We were still missing the Pacific, and that's where Pactel International came into the picture, Sydney-based company, but very much focused on the Pacific, with a very strong leadership position in that region. So we acquired Pactel International, and that was last year. And more recently, we've announced two acquisitions. One last month, a company called Satcoms Australia, based in Brisbane, Queensland, and Perth. It's a very exciting acquisition for us, because with Satcom Australia we are getting a teleport in Perth, which we view as strategic to serve the resources sector in Western Australia. And we're also acquiring a presence in Queensland, where there is a significant boom in gas, in shale gas exploration and production. And we were keen to expand our presence in Brisbane. And today we've announced the acquisition of a company called Oceanic Broadband, which is really focused on the PNG market, Papua New Guinea, which is a very sizable market for SpeedCast today, and a growing one. And we wanted to strengthen our capabilities there on the ground. With Oceanic, we have a teleport in Port Moresby, wireless network, and the ability to take our services, our portfolio of services to the resources sector in PNG to the next level. So very excited about that one as well.
Are there any challenges to managing this exceptional growth?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's nice to acquire companies, but you have to integrate them. Yeah. We see significant benefits if we manage to integrate all these companies properly together, in terms of economies of scale, cost savings, but also in terms of maximizing customer satisfaction by providing them a better service in various forms, which include a better support with wider teams, more presence on the ground, engineering support on the ground in more countries, closer to our customers. So we've been integrating those companies very smoothly so far, and it takes time and efforts, but it's been relatively easy. And I think a key reason for that is that all the companies we've acquired are very complementary. There are significant synergies. Everyone has a place in the puzzle, and comes to fill a gap in terms of expertise, in terms of geographic coverage, in terms of vertical focus, vertical experience. So it's been relatively easy to merge all these companies together.
You keep on mentioning the oil and gas sector.
Yep.
Why is that so important?
Well, first, it's an industry that operates in very remote areas and uses satellite a lot, but it's also an industry that is doing well. There's a tremendous amount of activity in the oil and gas industry, be it exploration or production. The industry continues to grow. And in Asia Pacific in particular, where we have a very strong position, there are significant developments in oil and gas exploration and production. So we are very well positioned to serve those requirements and the growth of that industry. What's also interesting about oil and gas is that in addition to new sites, new exploration, new production sites, there is also growth on existing sites in terms of the bandwidth required. And that's due to the digitalization of the oil field, the use more and more of a number of softwares and applications to monitor and operate those production sites, which means that the bandwidth needed by those customers keeps increasing, and obviously that's nice because we can grow with our customers.
There's still in some areas a perception that satellite is an expensive option. How do you combat that?
Well, let me just go back 1 second to the oil and gas industry. I don't think that price is the number one decision criteria. We are supporting mission critical applications. If satellite communications are down on an offshore platform, it costs a lot of money, much more than what our satellite link costs. So I think there are certain industries where cost is not the issue. Latency can be more of an issue for some customers. They'd like to be able to have lower latency than what we offer with geostationary satellites, and they start having options of satellites offering lower latency capabilities. So that's interesting. That's something we are following. The price is probably not an issue. The second thing I would say is that the efficiency gains achieved over the past 5 to 10 years have been tremendous. I always like to take the example of cellular backhaul, where 5-6 years ago, to deliver 2 megabit duplex links, so 2 megabit by 2 megabit over satellite, we were using 2.6, 2.7 megahertz. Today, through efficiency gains on the VSAT technology and also through some optimization devices, we brought that down to far below 1 megahertz, 0.8, sometimes 0.7 megahertz for 2x2 link. So we've divided the amount of space segment needed for the same actual megabit throughput by 3. It's tremendous, and prices have come down accordingly as well. So I think the industry has progressed very well, very strongly in terms of being more efficient and bring down the cost of the solutions. But I will finish by saying that it's not only about the bandwidth cost. And again, when you support critical applications, like is the case with oil and gas, all the support, all the value-added services, the IT integration, etc., is extremely important. There is a lot of work being done there, and that's also creating value for service providers who are able to play in that complete turnkey solution space.
One of the acquisitions you've made targets the maritime sector. Isn't that an area that is heavy competition? What made you look at that?
Well, first in 2008, when we decided to start our maritime services, we were a pioneer. We were one of the very few companies to say the future of maritime communications is VSAT. It has to be global, and we feel that at this stage the right band frequency to use is KU band. A lot of people were saying other things. We were lucky to end up being right, and because we were one of the first companies to develop a global K-band network, we've managed to pick up some good business. We've built a name, and we've experienced a very strong growth. When I look at the market today, I would tend to disagree. I think there's less competition today than there was 3 years ago. The market has consolidated. A lot of companies that were saying, yeah, sure, I can do global Ku-band, I've realized that it's extremely challenging. The level of support required is challenging and costly, and that you need to be a real global player. So today the competition is with a much smaller number of players, and in general companies that are professional, serious, deliver or at least try to deliver a good service and a good support. All that has a cost, and even though there is competition and there is price competition, I think it has become very reasonable and very manageable. And the last thing is that market has such growth potential that anyway there is room for multiple players. It's a first equipment market, so it's tens of thousands of vessels that will be equipped with VSAT over the next so many years. So there is room for all of us to grow together.
And finally, what are the challenges going forward for SpeedCast?
Well, integration is one, definitely. Putting all these companies together and getting the best out of our fantastic people. But you know, we've talked about this in the past already. But our biggest asset is our people, and retaining our people and attracting talented people into the group is definitely a key challenge. We've managed to address that well so far, but it's important that we continue doing that. I think another challenge for us is to make sure as we get bigger that we remain agile, flexible, reactive, because that has been a key competitive advantage, and we don't want to lose that. Overall, as a service provider, a satellite service provider, I think a key challenge is to ensure that our skills continue to evolve, to grow, so that we can offer more and more hybrid solution and a higher level of IT sophistication. And I'll explain what I mean by hybrid solutions. It's just solutions combining different technologies, satellite and possibly some cellular and some fiber, microwave, etc. At the end of the day, what we are doing is providing a solution to a requirement, to a problem that our customers have. What technology we use, what network technology we use, is secondary to our customer. We need to be technology agnostic. We need to be able to roll out hybrid networks that use different pieces of technologies in order to deliver the most effective solution, the most cost-effective solution, the best performance in line with what the customer requires. So it's when you look at the history of SpeedCast, we've evolved tremendously, but we've started as a provider 14 years ago of plain vanilla basic internet access over satellite, and at that time it was one way, so the return was a dial-up, into then two-way internet access, into today some very complex networks that combine different technologies. Well, it requires different skills, and that is a continuous challenge to ensure that we have the skills to follow what our customers need.
PJ, thank you very much.